You know what's crazy now is that in some comedy clubs, like if you have a lot of followers, like if you're on Instagram or Twitter, you have millions of followers.
Right.
There's no cluster like three dudes together, and then you'll fucking do a week at a comedy club, make some pretty nice change, man.
Yeah.
But you've never stepped on a stage, you've never told a joke. They sit up there on a couch, and they might play their videos.
Yeah, I think you made it easy for a lot of comics to come out. I mean, because you pretty much kicked open the door, and a lot of the guys didn't have to take the same steps. And because of the social networks, like Instagram, you could be doing comedy for only like 6 months and then touch a fucking stage and do a big show. It's kind of like the same thing where, not too long ago in rap music and hip hop music, 20, 30 years ago, you had to be co-signed by somebody, and you had to actually be good at that skill. You had to be doing it for a long time for anybody to take you serious.
True.
And then it switched over to where motherfuckers that had only been rapping like 6 months to a year now got deals, and they're fucking doing these big things.
I know, right.
So it's
festivals and shit blowing up, yeah.
So it's got to be sort of similar in comedy, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that you were trying to do the Tonight Show in the 80s, and then Arsenio hit, and Arsenio changed kind of everything.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't get a lot of the credit that I think he deserves.
Much respect to my man.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that guy had rappers on I was on the show when Ice-T had Cop Killer.
Yeah.
The day that whole thing blew up out here in L.A.
Oh, I remember
we were
that.
doing that show. It was, Ice-T, myself, and
who was it? Because I saw that show.
And then we did it when I went to the show when he brought Vanilla Ice out, and he was like saying, why you this and Hammer. Back when they had their beef, Hammer.
Yeah, that's right.
Ice.
They did have beef.
So that was like the place like Charlie Rose, man. He'd call you out on it, He'd call you out.
Yeah, man. I gotta say that was he did a great job over there, man. I mean, fuck, like you through your comedy, I mean, you opened up some doors for yourself. I mean, you got on TV, you had your own HBO specials, you had your own show,
right?
Aside from still working and doing the stand up and shit like that.
And tequila now too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Did you ever think, as you're coming up in the stand-up game, that you were going to get any of those opportunities? Because being a Latino comic, I mean, that has its own obstacles in itself.
Right. I never thought that there was a position where you could be a comedian and then end up with your own show. The first one that did, like Bill Cosby did it, he had albums, but Freddie Prinze or Richard Pryor would do guest spots on TV,
right,
and in the movies, and then you start to, I was kind of in my early teens, when you start to figure that there's a gig, man, that you can have your own show. I never imagined it happened. I wouldn't even know what it was about.
Yeah, because I mean, even like Red Fox had Sanford and
That's right.
Stuff like that.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like you were able to touch all these different bases, man, and keep going, because everybody has a run, and then, you don't hear from them for a while. And,
right.
They either come back heavy or they just disappear.
Yeah.
And you've always been out there. I mean, shit, anytime they show you on the fucking cameras at Staples Center, there's a whole lot of love out there.
I know, man. It's wild, dude. It's nobody has a run like that. And I think that is from just, like, never disconnecting or not touring for a year,
right?
Or I always thought that, especially in the beginning, that a lot of people that were going to the comedy clubs or the theaters or bigger venues like that to come and see me had to grow and learn how not to yell out stuff, or really how to be an audience,
right?
Because Latinos weren't going the way they're going now to comedy clubs, so they didn't know that you couldn't, like, yell out, you had to be quiet, that they gave you the bill before the show was over. They're like, "Whoa, it's not. You know, what are we doing here?" So every comedy club I ever went to, if there was a table that hadn't left yet, it was a Latino family fucking arguing over the bill. 2 hours after the show's over, they couldn't. You know, that's why when Trump said, "Hey, Mexico's going to pay for the wall," I was like, "Shit, we can't even split a check."